Good evening, everyone. So glad to be here. I feel like I haven't been here in a few weeks, so it's so good to be here with you all. We're going to get started. Now we are live on YouTube, so I'm going to go ahead and get us started. I am actually standing. I got another thing that I got to host in a little bit. So we are a hard stop today at like 6:45, 6:50. I'll be watching the time, so I kind of wanted to get us started just a few moments sooner than later. And hold on one second. It looks like somebody took my doggone it. It looks like somebody took my marker out of my book, but I think I'm okay. I think I found where we are. Right here. We are at the end of chapter 9. So we're not on chapter 10. We're at the end of chapter 9. We're on page 165. We're not on chapter 10 just yet. So, hoping that all of you have been well since the last time that we have been together, right? It's been a few weeks, and I promise you that my intent is for us to get done this book before the new year so that we don't have to go into the new year with the same book. We are currently reading Born Rich. If you did not go over this book with us, all of the episodes are on my YouTube. You definitely, it would do you some good to go back to the beginning. What we love about Born Rich is that Born Rich did not tell us to go look for something externally. It taught us to rearrange things that are in our lives, that literally things that we were looking for outside of us are already inside. And so we did not have to go looking outside of us. Born Rich taught us that we are already born rich. And literally all we had to do was look deep inside of us for everything that we desired. And so I want to go ahead and get started. You all, book club is so important because we cannot pour from an empty cup, right? We cannot pour from an empty cup. And I am here every single Monday to help fill your cup. So maybe this is your first time. My name is Nina Moore, and I am excited to host you on the Read and Rain Book Club. I started this book club back in 2019 during COVID. And I realized at that point that there are a lot of people who want to grow, but really don't enjoy reading or have never ever finished a book. And so I have a gift, and the gift that I have is to help you to get into the mind and the author of the author of the book and help you understand not just what we're reading, but really how to help the words pop out of the screen, pop out of the book for you, right? So we take our time, which is why sometimes it might take us 3, 4, 5, 6 months to finish one book because I want to make sure that we're not just reading the books, but that we're walking away with something. And I know that this is a little blurry. I'm sure my husband will be in here to fix it because I can tell it's a little bit blurry. We'll get it fixed as long as you can hear my voice. That's all that matters. So we can't pour from an empty cup. Also, leaders are readers. So if there's something that you desire, if you want to lead in any capacity, there it is. In any capacity, you have to read, right? Leaders are readers. And also, we're never ever going to earn more than we learn. So reading is fundamental because if you want your money to go up, you must go up. I want everybody in the comments to say, I must go up. So as you are logging on, let us know where you're logging in from, what city, what state, what country, and if you are ready to level up, say me, me, me. I am in the comments. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. We are at the end of the book. Don't think in reverse. And oh my gosh, this chapter has been like a kick in the behind, a gut punch for us in a good way, because we know that if we are not stretched, that we will always remain right where we are. So the book, we're on page 165 for any of you that might have it. And if you don't, you don't have to worry because I'm going to read it to you, with you, and for you. All right. I won't bore you with the details of how things all came together, but I will tell you they came together in wondrous and unexpected ways. Eventually, Patty actually attracted more money than she required for her trip. I was at the airport at approximately 6 a.m. with Patty's parents in the morning that she left. It was a tremendously gratifying experience for me to see her face aglow with nervous and excitement. Suffice it to say, she went on her cruise. She had enough courage to travel alone, and she enjoyed a trip that she will surely remember all the days of her life. So we remember Patty was kind of tripping over the fact that she wanted to go on this trip, and she had told Bob Proctor that she would never be able to afford the trip. It's kind of like a post that I put up today, and I put up a post saying a lot of people think they think they want something, right? and they believe that they're praying for it, but they really don't want that thing because they really don't understand. We don't understand that we're praying for stuff that God has already given us. In most instances, we're praying for things that God has already given us. And God is not a God that keeps repeating himself over and over and over again, right? So what we want and what we desire is on the other side of where we've already been. But we're thinking that we want something when we really don't. That's not what we really want. And the reason why we're not really asking for what we really want is because we understand that it's going to require some change in us. Rut-row. I know, rut-row. It requires a change in us. Here's the thing, Zena. If we could already have what we wanted, we would already have it. And that is the thing that I try to help people understand. If I had all the money that I wanted, all the properties that I wanted, all the jewelry that I wanted, all the businesses that I wanted, if I already had it all, I would already have it. Being who I am today, I would already have it. But by virtue of the fact that I don't have all that I want, who do I have to become to have what I want? So we're good when we're asking for stuff that's like doesn't stretch us. It doesn't cost us anything. Uh-oh. It doesn't cost us anything. You know, there was something that I don't want to say what it was, but there was something that I used to do religiously over and over and over again, right? And I remember when I pulled out of doing that same behavior, going to the same place multiple times a week. Multiple times a week. I was there faithfully when the doors opened, when the doors closed. I was there serving, serving, serving. And what I realized is that there was no change amongst the people that I was around, and there was no change in me. And in order for me to realize the change that I wanted in my life, I had to break free from the monotonous circle that I had caught myself in of doing the same things over and over and over and over and over again with the same people rehearsing it. I could literally put the car was like on autopilot. And in order for me to have what I have now, to become who I am today, and I'm not stopped. This is not it for me. But because I know I want more, what I want requires a different version of me. What you want requires a different version of you. Because if Mary Sue, Tamara Bogan, Sheila, if we could have it, we would already have it. Being who we are today. Change is a good thing. I want y'all to put that in the comments. Change is a good thing. If it wasn't a good thing, could you imagine not changing your underwear every single day? I want you to think about your life like that. How disgusting is that if you didn't change them every single day? But guess what? It's no different than us not wanting to change anything in our lives, because I hear people say, I'm good. Oh, come on. How many of y'all hear people say it? Well, I'm good. Oh, are you really? So you're good. Are we okay just being good? God has more for us than just good. So we want to believe that this God that we believe in, most of us, right? Most of us believe it. And we believe that he owns everything. All the houses, all the silver, all the gold. And you mean to tell me that what we have, that's enough? If you're an heir of the kingdom and a joint heir, what you have, that's enough? Or is that what we've settled for? Because we're comfortable. Oh, we're good. We're good, right? So this book says Patty was like, I want to go on this trip, but now she said I'll never be able to afford it. And what Bob Proctor helped her to do was to see it differently. Reframe her words. A lot of people don't have the success they want because their mouth kills them. Kills it. Your mouth. It's like you might as well be cussing. Because you're killing literally every time you open up your mouth. Well, I just don't understand it. And I just can't get it. And I just don't know what I'm doing. And I just don't this. And I just don't that. And every time we utter out of our mouths, we're killing it. Killing your businesses. Killing your dreams. Killing your desires. Killing your goals. Killing them with the same old verbiage. The same old dead verbiage. That we don't understand the power of the tongue. And we only understand it when somebody talking bad about somebody else. But what about when you're talking bad about yourself? Who clutches pearls? Even more important than the trip itself is the awareness that Patty gained from the experience. For she now knows through her own personal experience that if you think in reverse, everybody say think in reverse, you will only see reasons why you can't. However, if you look into the future with a positive, even expectant attitude, you will see that you can. Patty will be able to apply this awareness toward the achievement of all of her future wishes. Have you ever been dreaming of a trip? And if you have, go out and book your reservations. It doesn't matter if they are for 6 months from now or a year from now. Make them immediately and enjoy the anticipation which precedes the actual event. I honestly believe that in Patty's case, the excitement leading up to her trip was as enjoyable and exciting as the trip itself, not to mention the enjoyment she would derive from the memories of her trip for the rest of her life. The probable reason that so few people make plans or set goals is that most people, listen, are unable in their own minds to figure out how everything necessary will come together. Oh my goodness. You know, my prayer vision board. So last year, at the end of the year in December, I did a prayer vision board. I do one every single year. I'm gonna have a very intimate one this year, probably up to about 15 people. So it'll be the first 15 people who register, and it will only be in person. And last year, this time last year, I put on my board that I wanted to go to Dubai. Well, guess what? I had put it on the board the year before too, and it didn't happen. So I put it on there again. Stay tuned, is all I'm gonna say. Okay. So probable, most people would have said, well, it didn't happen. So why would I stop? If it didn't happen, why would I stop? Why would you stop? Because it didn't happen that month or it didn't happen that week. Why would you stop? You know what's amazing to me, Pastor Sean? The same God that people say, God told me to do this. He told me to do it. And then when it get a little rough, we don't understand the path, when we don't understand the way, Zena, what's so crazy is that people all of a sudden will then turn their lips to say, well, maybe God didn't want me to do that. Maybe he did. Maybe he wanted to see, were you going to quit just like you always do? Oh, so when it gets a little rough, when we can't see the way, then here we go questioning God. But we say things like, he told me to do it. So now we're going to lie on God and say because did God change his mind? Did God change his mind? Or was he trying to birth something in and through us? And because we don't like the way it feels, we retreat. Uh-oh. Ruh-roh. Did God change his mind? Is God confused? Is God bipolar? No. No. Because what we want requires a different version of ourselves, not the person that you're looking at in the mirror. You know what I noticed too, Tredra? There are so many people that want so much from God, but are not willing to make a sacrifice. No sacrifice at all. Oh no, that's too far. I'm not going there. Mm-mm. Oh yeah, I'm not driving there. That's too far. Oh, I'm not. But those same people want God to show up for them. Yeah, but I'm not doing that because that's too long. It's gonna take me too. That's too. It costs too much. You know what I realized? What is the cost? Not what is it gonna cost me. What will it cost me if I don't do it? Not what it cost me. Or how about what is it already costing me? Oh, what is it costing me to say the same? What is it costing me to not stretch? What is it costing me to not want to change? What is it already cost me? What connections has it cost me? Whoa, what rooms has it cost me? What alignment has it cost me? What proximity has I can't make a decision. So because I can't make a decision, what has it cost me already? What relationship has it cost me? Because I didn't want to go. I'm tired. What has it cost me? What does it cost you? Think about that. And you know what? What'll happen is instead, people will get upset. They'll get upset because other people end up being where they probably should have been. Now you mad and jealous when you should be mad at yourself because you were too lazy to get dressed and go. You were too lazy to get in your car and go. You were too lazy to make the trip. You were too whatever. I don't want to do that. And we blame it on all kind of stuff. With my cousin on my dad's fifth generation side, he died. I had death in the family over somebody you didn't even know. And we use that as an excuse to not be where we're supposed to be because we don't want to go. What might have been there? What revelation? What relationship? What alignment? What was in the room that it cost you because you wanted to stay comfortable? We on fire now. So think about it. In Patty's case, think about it. The probable reason that so few people make plans or set goals is that most people are unable in their minds to figure out how everything will come together. Why do we believe that we have to figure out how it's all going to come together? Why do we believe? Wait a minute. So I trust God, right? Uh-oh. I trust God, but I'm not moving because I don't know all the steps. And until I know all the steps, I'm not taking a step. So we sang a song growing up. Well, if you make one step, he'll make two. The problem is, Pastor Sean, too many people are waiting for God to make two steps before we take one. And he's saying, I'm not moving until you move. And I mean, we used to go in the male chorus, he'll make a step, you make a step, he'll make a step, he'll make a step, you make a step. And we sang it, Melissa, and sang it till like we was shouting and oh and a oh and a oh and a two-step. And God is saying, what happened to that song you sang? You said, if you make one step, he'll make two. You sang it till the church was shouting. Oh, the mothers, everybody was shouting. And when it comes time to make a step, I don't feel like driving. I don't feel like going. Oh, you know what? This is one I hear a lot of people in my industry say, well, I'm not going to go because, I don't have no guests anyway. Oh, let me tell you what a mentor of mine, a multi-million-dollar mentor of mine told me. He said, Nina, when you have a guest, you need the meeting. And when you don't have a guest, the meeting needs you. Oh, okay. I'm going to just leave that one right there. That's what he told me. A multi-million-dollar mentor of mine said, when you have a guest, oh yeah, you need the meeting. And when you don't have one, the meeting needs you. So either way, it always needs me. Somebody got that? I hope somebody got that. So the book says, let's go back, but you need not know how everything will come together. Uh-oh. You need not know how it's all going to come together. All you have to understand is the underlying principle by which your good comes. Everything you receive in life comes by virtue or the law of attraction. Well, I be. Everything good comes by virtue or law of attraction. The Paul Hutsey story in chapter 3 is an excellent example of the conscientious, intelligent, hardworking person who was attempting to do something tantamount to a person jumping off the front porch of his home and then expecting somehow to land on the roof. You know that this is never going to happen. Yet Paul had spent 20 years letting the sales sheets in his office control the image that he held in of his operation and attempting to improve the results he was getting through sheer force of will, dogged determination, and long, hard hours of agonizing toil. Hustle don't get us paid, y'all. Hustle, although it requires a work ethic, hustle doesn't get us paid. Who you think you are does. Who you believe you are does. So when there's something off with a person's business, it has nothing to do with the business. It has everything to do with the person looking in the mirror. There is some form of limiting belief. Because here's the deal. If two people could launch a business at the same time, and one person can go on and make $100,000, and one person can barely make $100, who's the problem? What's the problem? It isn't the business model. It isn't the product. It isn't the back office or the website. It isn't customer service. Now, is it? What is the difference if one person can go and make $100,000 a month and one person is barely earning $100 a month, but they all started at the same time. They've all got the same potential with the same product. What is the difference? I'm crazy enough to believe, because I pick up the phone, that every city that I go to, somebody that I invite is going to be there. Because I don't just post a flyer and think that that's inviting. No, I actually get on the phone and get in the inboxes and look for people in those areas. And I'm crazy enough to believe that everywhere I go, there will be a guest. Because putting up a flyer is not inviting. That's just kind of like reminding people when they see it on your page that that's what was happening, that this event is happening. But I'm going to Philadelphia. I went to Brunswick. You don't think that I spent time nurturing people that I knew in the area so that they could see where I was going to be? You don't think I'm going to Philadelphia? You don't think I've been on the phones? Hey, I'm heading to Philly this week. Hey, I'm heading to Philly this week. If you can't come, send your mama. If you can't be there, send this person. Hey, I wanted you to know I'll be in Philly this week. See, because that's not hustle. Yeah, somebody gonna catch that. That's not hustle. It is because I am setting the foundation or the tone of what I expect to return. I'm being intentional, right, Tedra? Intentional. That I'm gonna have somebody in the room. Because I need the meeting. Because I need the meeting. Somebody will catch that. So Paul spent 20 years letting the sales. He literally was trying to figure out what the heck. If you went back to chapter 3, you'll understand the story. By doing these things, everybody will certainly improve their results to some degree, but they will never witness a dramatic improvement in their results until they have first altered the image they are holding in their mind's eye. You now are living out and experiencing in your businesses, in your lives, what you see in your mind's eyes. You're living it out. Whatever it is that you believe, that is what's happening in your business. You know what? I started praying. I was talking to Alicia. Alicia called us early. She's like, I'm just making sure y'all good. And when we got on the phone, you know, I said, one of the things that I've been praying for, I said my phone, because literally while we were on the phone, she kept seeing my phone was going ding, 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 multiple times. And she said, what is that? I said, customers enrolling. She said, I mean, because it just was back to back to back to back to back. I said, yeah, it's what I prayed for this month. I prayed that it would come back with ease. I prayed that there would be a multiplication, a duplication of my own efforts. I prayed for it. And I said to her, you know, all weekend long, it's just been like, boom, customer, boom, 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 boom. I asked for new, fresh wind to come my way. That's what I prayed for. And why would I pray and not believe that it was going to happen? See, that's so how many of us are praying and they're just words that's going to the ceiling and coming back down? No, I believe it's going to happen. But I'm not sitting around waiting for it to happen either. Because faith without what? Works is dead. So too many people are sitting there like, God bless my business. God send me a customer. God send me this and God send me that. And then he goes to look at what your activity is looking like and he's saying, you ain't ready. You're not stewarding the business well. Okay, let me just go back to the book. I'm going to just go ahead and read. Paul Hutsey is a prime illustration of a person who fully believed that he was looking ahead, and he wasn't. Fully believed that he was looking ahead, and he wasn't. when in fact he was guilty of thinking almost completely in reverse. He spent the vast majority of his time consciously focusing on present results, present thoughts, and present images. You have to be fantasizing. What does it look like when you cross the stage? What does it look like when your income is such and such and such? What does it look like when your volume is such and such and such? What does it look like? You got to fantasize about it. Like literally, people who manifest what they want are obsessed with it. Obsessed with winning, obsessed with results, obsessed with moving forward, obsessed with good fortune, obsessed with it. They're obsessed with it. And guess what, y'all? I don't care what anybody thinks. I am obsessed with making sure that other people are well. I'm obsessed with it. Why you think I'm on the road? Why you think we on the road? Why do you think we're doing that? Because we're obsessed with it. See, I'm actually living out what I say that I believe. And I'm living out, see, there's a part of the scripture that says that we should prosper and be in good health, even as our soul prospers. And as a believer, I'm really making sure that I spread that word. And I'm looking at all the other believers who's sitting around doing nothing, complaining and waiting for God to do something. And I'm saying, but I don't understand. Beyond personal development books, the Bible says faith without works is dead. The Bible says that we should prosper and be in good health, even as our soul prospers. So I don't know what's happening. Where are my believers at? Then the book says that we've got to literally see it, not in the present, but in the what? In the future. What does this look like? Why would I be looking at what it looks like in the present? I'm in the present. That's not where I need to be looking. When I go, y'all, when I'm traveling, guess what I see? A full room. I see a full room. I'm expecting a full room. I'm expecting to sign 1299s. I know what I'm sowing to be in a place. I'm expecting a return. I'm expecting customers flocking to my website while I'm on my way there and back. I'm expecting for God to multiply my seed. I'm expecting a harvest because I know the seeds I've planted, the seeds I've sown. I'm expecting it. Why are we not living a life of expectation? What does it look like when you're well? What does it look like when your body's not aching? How does it look? What does it look like when money's not a problem? What does it look like when I'm living in my birthright? Think about what it looks like. So if you have been guilty of allowing your sales sheets, bank accounts, or the x-rays that the doctors take of your body control the way you feel, think, or view your sales, your financial position, or your health, I can assure you that just as certainly as it's going to get dark tonight, there will not be any marked improvement in your life in these areas. As long as you continue to let your present or past results control your thinking process, you will never, this is what the book says. Now, I'm going to tell y'all, never is a strong word. It says you will never live to see your dreams come true. Never. Well, I mean, I don't know. You know, I don't know why people aren't signing up. Really? They're not signing up because you're not certain. The moment people become, so I think about Janet Reese. Janet Reese said, Nina, I just want to be a retailer. Then something happened. Her daddy had a result. And then she said, I'm going to build this. She wasn't wavering. She went from, I'm going to be a retailer to, I'm going to build this. Nothing in her was wavering. And when she put her foot on the gas because she made a decision, could it be that you're not now manifesting what you say you want because you're straddling the fence? I'm going to just go ahead and read. Everything you receive in life comes from what? Virtue and the law of attraction. On the other hand, if you will let the present physical results serve only as an indication of the images that you have been holding in the past, and then proceed by virtue of your own higher mental faculties to look into the bright future and build an image of the good that you desire, as Patty and Paul did, you will see your image materialize. Look up, look ahead, and form the image of life you choose to live. Then everything you touch and come in contact with will grow. It will expand. It will express itself in a greater and greater way. Individuals who are thinking in reverse rarely, if ever, originate ideas which lead them to providing meaningful service to others, because they are only able to see what someone else has already done. And as a result of their limited mindset, the rewards that they will ultimately receive in life are destined to be equally limited. So there's some people that feel like, well, yeah, I'm getting blessed, but it just doesn't feel like it's not exploding. It's not exploding like I want it to, or like you think you want it to. But here's the reality of this. How do you even steward the time of your business, for all of those of you that are in business? So if you want this to explode, but God keeps seeing that you don't show up when it's time, how can he trust you to help your business explode when you're not even ready to lead anybody? Yikes. Can you lead an explosion in your business right now, who you are? Can you? It's okay. Just look straight ahead and just say "Ouchallooya" if you need to. It's okay. Clutches pearls. Clutches pearls. Clutches pearls. Because you're waiting for somebody to tell you everything when they've given you everything. So there are things that you won't even go look at because you're saying, well, I don't have nobody lead yet. So, I'm not going to look at that. When it's time to show up, where are you? So you want God to bless you with this overflow that you can't even handle. You don't have the capacity to handle it right now. So could it be you go get the capacity and then it comes? Not the reverse. Well, I'm going to learn it when I have to. No, you learn it because you have to. Before you need it, you need to know it. Uh-oh. So the 333 story. What time 6:30, we good. I was doing a seminar that ran from Thursday night to Sunday at the Deerhurst Lodge, a resort approximately 100 miles north of Toronto. On the Friday night, a tornado swept through Barrie, Ontario, a town about 40 miles south of Deerhurst. The tornado killed a dozen people and did millions of dollars worth of damage. As I was coming home that Sunday night, I stopped the car when I got to Barrie. I got out on the side of the highway and looked around, and it was a mess. Everywhere I looked, there were smashed houses and cars turned upside down. That same night, another gentleman, Bob Templeton, was driving down the same highway. He and I had never met, but an idea from my seminar was about to bring us together in a lasting friendship. He stopped to look at the disaster just as I had, but his thoughts were different from my own. Bob was the vice president of Telemedia Communications, which owns a string of radio stations in Ontario and Quebec. As he stood there viewing the disaster, he thought there must be something that he could do for these people with these radio stations. That thought kept returning to his mind that night and all the next day. The following night, I was doing another seminar in Toronto. Bob Templeton and Bob Johnson, another vice president from Telemedia, came in and stood at the back of the room. They were evaluating my seminar, trying to decide if I could help their company reach its goals, which I ultimately did. Because of Bob Templeton's influence, I subsequently worked for the entire Canadian broadcasting industry. He loved what I was doing in my seminars because it was in harmony with the way he was thinking. Bob Templeton became fascinated with the law of the universe, particularly the law of polarity, or as it is often called, the law of opposites. It states that everything has an opposite. You cannot have an up without a down, a hot without a cold, or an in without an out. By the same token, if you can figure out why something you want to do cannot be done, by law, you must be able to figure out how it can be done. Oh, this is so good. Because everything, this is science, y'all. Everything has an opposite. All right? So it says people who accomplish great things are aware of the negative, but they give all their mental energy to the positive. So I'm very aware, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry I had to sit on a pillow because this stool is kind of short, right? I'm very aware that there are people that are going to tell me no. I'm very aware of it, Zena. Very aware of it, Sheila. I'm very aware, Lady Jaquetta. V, I know people going to tell me no, but I don't care. Because for as many people, if people are going to tell me no, as long as I keep doing the action, guess what's going to happen, Mary Sue? Somebody going to tell me yes. They have to by law. Somebody ought to come on. Somebody ought to catch this. I can't just keep getting no, 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 no. At some point, I got to get me a yes. Because it's by law that it has to happen. So I got to keep on going. I got to keep on going. And I got to be like the little engine that I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. I can. I think I can. And you just keep going. And you just keep going. And you just keep going. Because yes, somebody's going to say no. Somebody's going to say, you know what? Somebody asked me, is it expensive? They said, is it expensive? I said, well, expensive, that's a relative word. Expensive, well, I guess that would depend on who I'm talking to. Is it expensive? What is it costing you now to not be able to walk? Is that expensive? Oh, come on. See, I need to know, what is it costing you now that you can't get up out of the bed on your own? What is it costing you now that you could barely stand up out of a chair? What is it costing you now? So is it expensive? That's relative to who I'm talking to. Oh, wait. Come on. Whoa, wait. So he said, in harmony, which I was thinking, Bob Templeton became fascinated with the laws of the universe, especially the one of the law of polarity. As often as it's caused, the opposites, right? People who accomplish great things are aware of the negative, but they give all their mental energy to the positive. I don't have any capacity for anything or anyone who's negative. Let me tell y'all something. There are some people that don't even realize they're being negative. And if you were doing enough work of your own, you would never ever have a comment to say about nothing or no one. Get your eyes on your own plate and shut your mouth. I don't even want nobody negative around me. And I will cut off all access to a person who can't shut their mouths. Because I don't want to hear it. I am aware that there is negative, but I don't live negative. I only live in a positive stratosphere so that I can only draw positivity to me. You gotta see that thing and feel that thing. And is it that deep? Yes, it is. It is that deep. So after the seminar, Bob Templeton went back to his office. He told me it was late, but this one idea he picked up had him excited. It also had him committed to the idea of raising millions of dollars and giving it to the people who had been caught in the tornado. And he was going to raise the money immediately. Say immediately. Now listen to this. He said he was going to raise millions of dollars immediately. Some of y'all gonna catch that, and some of y'all just went over your head. Okay? He said immediately. Furthermore, he was not remotely interested in why he couldn't. I need y'all to understand. Yes, the fact that it maybe won't happen, yeah, that's somewhere down there. But what about the other side of it? The other side is that it possibly could. So why do you choose to focus on so heavily what ain't gonna happen? Ask yourself why. How about you practice saying, yes, it will. I think I can. 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 Practice it. The same way that you have rehearsed over and over and over and over again in your mind that it won't work. Practice that it will. Say it out loud that it will. Practice your acceptance speech. Practice your walking across the stage. Practice what it looks like when the money hits your account. Practice it. Practice greatness. Practice positivity. Practice it. Watch what happens when you start living as if it's already happening. Practice it. Practice success. Practice winning. Practice championship. Practice it. Watch what happens when you shift your mind from woe is me to I am winning. I'm a winner. I listen to songs like, because I'm a winner, 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 winner. Hey, 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 I expect to win. Let me tell y'all something. I was telling somebody yesterday, I think we were eating, and I said, I don't do low energy people. I can't stand low energy people. And let me tell y'all something. Now, I'm an introvert. I allow myself to be extroverted right now. Okay? But I am an introvert. But I'm not low energy. People think quiet means low energy, and it doesn't. I'm vibrating on a frequency. Y'all, I don't let anyone pull me out of the frequency that I am in. I'm training my aura to attract nothing but wealth. And you know what I've been asking the Lord to do in this season? To remove all the frauds. I don't want no counterfeits around me either. So if you suddenly look up 6 months from now and people who used to be in my circle are not there, they're a fraud. Because I'm praying for the Lord to pluck them out. And I mean that. I'm going to love you from a distance. Because I know where I'm going. And I am vibrating so high. And it's so crazy, Lady Jaquetta, when people start to, I don't even say a word. I make a mental note in my mind. Boop, you're done. Boop, I won't invite them again. Boop, I don't even say anything. Because there's no need. Because now I'm not going to waste my energy on even addressing the fact that you need a mindset shift. But you can go figure that out on your own time, because I know where I'm going and I won't allow anything or anyone to stop me. And that's exactly where all of you need to be. I won't let one no stop me. Because you know why, Mary? I know I'm supposed to get some. I know I'm supposed to get some no's. Zena, I have to. Because for every yes, there's going to be several no's. It's called the law. We cannot go around it. And when we understand that, we stop taking it so personal. So he says, the following, where we at? After the seminar, furthermore, he was not remotely interested in what he couldn't write. The following Friday, he called all of his executives at Telemedia into his office. At the top of the flip chart, in bold letters, he wrote the three S's. He said to his executives, how would you like to raise $3 million 3 days from now in just 3 hours and give the money to the people in Barry? $3 million. See, let me tell y'all something. You know what's crazy? So our team did over $300,000 in sales in 24 hours. Here's what's so crazy about that, Mary Sue, Tara, Tedra, Lady Jaquetta, Zena, to all of you that are listening right now, Mattia, right? Kathleen Moore, Minister Moore. Guess what's so crazy about that? Antoinette, if I had told the team that we were going to go ahead and do $3 million and $300,000 in sales in 24 hours, no one would have believed me. No one would have believed me. If I had said the number, let me tell you what would have happened. Sooner, everybody would have froze up. Edna, Nicole, everybody, Betty, Lalani, everybody would have been sitting around. Cindy, they would have been like, oh, heck no, Nina done bumped her head. That's what they would have thought. No one knew that I knew we needed Tammy Clark 300,000 volume in 24 hours. But Cindy Williams, I'm crazy enough to believe that if I just keep doing the work, if I just keep doing it, Tammy Clark, that it was going to happen. And not only did we need, well, we really didn't need quite 300,000. We needed about 270. That's 300,000 no matter how you look at it, right? We exceeded that, Nicole, with another 37,000. So we went surplus of 67,000 above what we needed. But had I come to the people who don't believe like I believe, which is why I didn't say a word, Mary Sue. I didn't tell anybody. Matter of fact, only about nobody even knew I was going for MVP until the morning of the closeout. Not even my closest friends, because I didn't even want none of they doubt. Tedra didn't know I was going for MVP till about the morning of, or maybe late the night before. Because she said something, I said, no, I'm going for it. They didn't know. Mary, some things you got to just be shh. Because Zena, I didn't need nobody's doubt. You just have to shh. And just put your head down and run. And the CEO had to call me and say, what in the what is going on over there? And every time Stanisha kept calling me and saying, Nina, what the heck is going on? I said, it's supernatural. I have to get off of the phone. I can't talk to you right now because God is doing a supernatural thing. And I had to keep getting off the phone while I was watching God do a supernatural thing. Because do you think that it's going to make sense? It's never going to make sense. Melissa, it's never going to make sense. And the problem, Edna, the problem, Nicole, is that too many people are waiting for it to make sense. It's never, ever going to make sense. It would not be a miracle. It would not be supernatural if it made sense. It wouldn't be God if it made sense. Come on. It wouldn't be God. So it had to be the supernatural. And I couldn't allow anybody's doubt to step in. So when people were asking me, are you done? Are we done? Did you hit? I had already hit. I wasn't worried about that. I was worried about finishing. Somebody. I mean, for real, we can get the benediction right now. Dang it, I am not going to fit. Okay, let me hurry up. So there was nothing but silence in the room. Silence. See, that's what would have happened if I had said, y'all know we got to do 300,000 in the next 24 hours. There would have been silence in the room. No. I didn't sit around waiting for it to happen though, Nicole. Oh no, I put my foot on the gas. I put my foot on the gas. I put my foot on the gas. I didn't wait for it. So now he done told the people that they need $3 million 3 days from now in 3 hours. Melissa, can you imagine they looking at him like, you done bumped your head? What? There's nothing but silence in the room now. Finally, someone, Templeton, says, you're crazy. There's absolutely no way we could raise $3 million in 3 hours, 3 days from now. Bob said, wait a minute. I didn't ask you if we could or even if we should. I just asked you if you would like to. Oh! Yeah, I didn't ask you if you thought we could. I didn't even ask you if you think we should. I'm asking you, do you want to go on this journey with me or not? Because if you don't, that's cool. You just got to go over there. You got to get out of this room. You can't be in this stratosphere with me, right? He says, yeah, I didn't ask you that, right? Bob said, listen to this. He said, Bob said, wait a minute, I didn't ask if you could, we should. I asked if you wanted to. Bob Templeton was wise. He was appealing to the charitable side of their nature. It was important for those present to openly admit that this was something that they wanted to do. See, because when you want to do something, there's no resistance. You practice the law of resistance when you decide, when you start, how we gonna, see, because had I told some of y'all are married to people with stinking thinking. And had I told some of you what we needed more than 24 hours beforehand, you would have said it to your spouses and they would have said something to you like, how she think we gonna do that? How she think y'all gonna do that? That's what would have happened with some of y'all stinking thinking spouses and family members. So I didn't say nothing to nobody because I didn't even want it coming from your spouses or your children. See, somebody gonna, I didn't need it coming from the people you're connected to either. Because had you said something, some of your stinking thinking spouses, family members would have been like, and I ain't saying they bad people. I'm saying they stuck in a stinking thinking pattern. I ain't called nobody a name. So don't be off of here like she calling my family members. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm talking about is the mindset. The mindset. So I didn't tell anybody until the morning time or something like that when I was like, yeah, no, I'm going for it. But I waited. So what you do, it don't even matter. If you do, good. If you don't, good. Because I depended on God to do it, not man. Because there's no way man could have provided 337,000 volume in 24 hours. Only God. Only God can do it. 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 Right? That's only God can do it. Only God. Only God did it. Right? So, come on. It says it was important to openly admit that they wanted to do it. So listen to this. Bob Templeton knew that this idea could show anyone how to accomplish anything they wanted by working with the law. So, y'all, we can accomplish anything we want when we work with the law, the principles. All right? It says they all said, sure, we'd like to do it. He then drew a large T underneath the 333. On one side, he wrote, why we can't. And on the other side, he wrote, how we can. Under the words, why we can't, Bob drew a large X. And as he did, he said, now, there is no place to record the ideas we think of which will explain why we can't raise $3 million in 3 hours, 3 days from now, regardless of how valid they might be. He continued, when anyone calls out an idea which suggests why we can't, everyone else must yell out as loud as they can, next! All right? He says this will be our command to go on to the next idea. Ideas are like the cars on a train. One always follows the other. We will keep saying next until one positive idea arrives. All right, I think I got to stop right there because we got a hard stop. I'm going to read this poem. We're almost actually done this chapter. No, let me finish this, y'all. We got one page and then I got to go. All right, let me finish this. The opposite of the X of the other side of the flip chart, directly under the words how we can, I will write down every idea that we can come up with on how we can raise 3 million in 3 hours, 3 days from now. He also suggested in a very serious tone of voice that everyone would remain in the room until they figured it out. We are not only going to think of how we can raise the 3 million immediately. After we originate the ideas, we're going to execute them. So we have to originate the ideas and we have to do what? Execute them. There was silence again. Finally, someone said, we could do a radio show across Canada. There was silence again. Finally, someone said, but Bob said that's a great idea and wrote it down under the how we can. So maybe we got to practice putting an X where we can't do something and putting the how we can all over the others, right? It says before he had written on the right side of the flip chart, someone says, you can't do a radio show across Canada. We don't have a radio stations across Canada since Telemedia only had stations on in Ontario and Quebec. You must admit that was a pretty valid objection. However, someone in the back of the room in a rather soft tone said, next. Bob Templeton replied, doing a radio show is how we can. The idea stays. But this did sound like a ridiculous idea because the radio stations were very competitive. They usually don't work together. And to get them to do this would virtually be impossible, according to the standard way of thinking. So yes, it could be impossible. According to what? The standard operating systems. We're not standard. We're above standard. So he says, all of a sudden, someone suggested you could get Harvey Kirk and Lloyd Robertson to anchor the show. These gentlemen are anchors of national stature in the Canadian television industry. Someone spoke out saying they're not going on the radio. At that point, the group yelled, next. Bob said that was their energy shifted. Everyone got involved. And it was amazing how fast and furiously the creative ideas began to flow. That was a Friday. And the following Tuesday, they had a radiothon where 50 radio stations from all across the country agreed to work in harmony for such a good cause. They felt it didn't matter who got the credit as long as the people in Barrie got the money. Harvey Kirk and Lloyd Robertson anchored the show and they succeeded in raising $3 million in 3 hours within 3 business days. You see, you can have whatever you want. All things are possible when you put the focus on how you can and next on every idea telling you why you can't. This may be a difficult exercise in the beginning, but when you persist, In nexting any and all negative concepts, the flow of the positive ideas will roar into your marvelous mind. Alfred Adler, the renowned psychologist, coined the extraordinary phase. I'm grateful the idea that has used me. There can be no doubt that creative, forward thinking ideas breathe new life into every fiber of your being. They awaken a part of you that you never knew was sleeping. Bob Templeton never received 5 cents for the leadership role he played in marshaling 50 radio stations from right across Canada to raise $3 million for the people of Barrie. However, you must remember that this is truly an ordinary universe, orderly universe. God's way of running this show is exact. When you put good out, it must come back. I shared the story with 2 good friends of mine, Jack Canfield and Mark Victor Hansen. They were so intrigued by the story that they published it in their book, Chicken Soup for the Soul. All right, so giving. We're going to end this with giving. Giving. To get, he had tried, yet his store was still meager. To a wise man he cried, and a voice keen and eager, pray tell me how I may successfully live. And the wise man replied, to get you must give. As to giving he said, what have I to give? I've scarce enough bread, and of course one must live. But I would partake of life's bountiful store. Came the wise man's response, then you must give more. The lesson he learned, to get was forgotten. Toward mankind he turned with a love new begotten. As he gave of himself in useful living, then joy crowned his days, for he grew rich in giving. And that ends chapter 9. We'll start next week with the vacuum law of prosperity. The vacuum law of prosperity, and that will end our book, Born Rich, after we finish chapter 10. So listen, I'm so glad we had this time together, right? This was so good. All right, give yourselves a round of applause for being here. So you all know the 8 o'clock call will be starting at 7:45, right, with Coach Chris DJing for everybody. Make sure that you come back in about 45 minutes or so. Come back in about 45 minutes for the Monday night Vision Mastery call starting at 7:45. So make sure that you spread the word and tell people that this is the place to be. I know that they're in Memphis tonight, and then Saturday we are in Philadelphia. I can't wait to see you all. And always remember that God loves you, I love you, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Good.